Here tonight to react is Democrat Congressman Khanna of California. He was the first lawmaker to call for Schumer to lose his job. Congressman, first of all, I love you coming on. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it because you do like a dialogue, and that's really important, especially now. But I'm going to talk about the Schumer issue, and I'm no fan of Chuck Schumer, as you know. But you guys just won, right, in the off-year election. You won in New Jersey and New York and Virginia. Like, you won. So why is this the time to kind of relitigate leadership when you think you have these rising stars in the party?
Well, precisely because we have these rising stars. We need new, fresh blood. But, Laura, look, Donald Trump in 2015 was right about health care. He, in the Republican debate, said that single payer worked in Canada, single payer worked in Scotland. In 2000, he wrote a book saying that we should look at national health insurance in the United States. I've supported Donald Trump when it comes to his prescription drug plan. I actually introduced his executive order as legislation. And if he wants to talk about his own ideas about expanding Medicare, I'd be happy to have that conversation.
Well, Congressman, we were told at the beginning, because I was there in these debates, I don't know what Trump was writing in 2000. Your party was a totally different party in 2000. Obama was, I kind of remember Barack Obama being against gay marriage, so we could go back into all that, but that's not really going to be helpful for tonight. But do you actually believe that from the outset, Democrats thought that this was a sustainable type of health care system that would actually last past the time it was going to get these mega subsidies?
We thought that it would help cover people. And yes, the costs have increased, but it did slow the growth of costs. But ultimately, I agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. The system is broken. These private health insurance companies have been ripping off the American people. And I believe that what we need to do is expand Medicare, that is actually, especially for people between 50 and 64, that would be the solution. It would also help our manufacturing. It would help our competitiveness. It would lower costs.
Congressman, who should replace Schumer as leader, or a couple of options?
Well, look, I think it's going to be a wide open, as leader. I thought you were saying in 2028 as senator. As leader, look, I think there's Chris Murphy, there's Van Hollen, there's Elizabeth Warren, there's Amy Klobuchar. There are a lot of people who can, Cory Booker. But my view is that it should be someone new. Schumer has been there for so many years, and he was effective in the Biden administration. I just don't think that that's the look for the future of the party.
Well, you think Elizabeth Warren's the look for the party? I mean, I love you, Congressman, but how is she like the brand spanking new future of the party? Murphy, I'll throw Murphy in for good measure, too. I mean, I guess I could see like some young face who's kind of dynamic, but Elizabeth Warren, we're going to go back to that? How is that new?
Look, I think it's for the Senate to decide who it's going to be. They've already are annoyed at a House member calling for the minority leader to step aside. But there are a lot of dynamic, young, new members in the Senate. I think that and as Axelrod said, I do think that's going to be the case in 2026 after the election. Why not do it now? And Senator Schumer can serve gracefully the rest of his term. Just like Speaker Pelosi, she gave up power and she served out her term in Congress.
Do you actually think Schumer, should just not run for re-election at all? So he should be primaried as many were suspecting AOC or someone else would do next time around?
Well, look, obviously it's his decision. I don't think he'd win a primary, whether it's AOC or whether it's someone else. There are probably a half a dozen House members who would be able to win in 28 just because this party is ready to turn the page. One of the things I say to my party all the time is if you look at the number of years that J.D. Vance and Donald Trump had in elective office and you compare it to the number of years that President Biden and Vice President Harris had in office, it was like 70-5. And one of the things we need to do is have new people who haven't been part of a system that has led to the decline of the American dream. And I believe that's why we won on Tuesday night. Whatever you think of the politics, Mamdani, Abigail, Spanberger, Mikey Sherrill, there were new faces in politics.
Well, Congressman, do you think that it would be helpful for you, because you're willing to engage with people, and maybe a few others, maybe Fetterman, would sit down with President Trump and a few Republicans and talk about ideas for reforming,
Look, I'm always open
repairing,
to having that kind of
changing
conversation.
Obamacare.
You're cutting out a little bit. I think you were saying, am I open to discussing ideas with them?
Yes.
The connection is not coming through
Yeah.
fully.
Are you willing to sit down and talk to President Trump and Republicans on ways to actually deliver health care that gives people portability and the ability to use their own money to make their own decisions to drive down costs?
Yeah, here's the challenge with that. Where are they going to buy that health care? Is it going to be junk insurance that doesn't actually cover the benefits? Is it going to be something that's affordable? Where are they going to buy it if they got the money? I think if it was that Medicare would cover them, that would be a real solution. And certainly on prescription drugs, that would be a real solution, what President Trump has offered. Why don't we do that? Why don't we start with that? He's got a great proposal. He says Americans should not pay more than other countries. And he says that if pharma is ripping off the American people, then they would have fees. I introduced his executive order as legislation. Why don't we just pass that? That would be a historic achievement.
Well, Congressman, I think your IFB popped out, but thank you for joining us. And we will continue to monitor this and see if a conversation can be had. But President Trump's certainly doing a lot to try to bring down prescription drug prices and also, make general life more affordable. I think Democrats just have to have a conversation. They'd be surprised if they weren't so fanatical.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.